Oh, what is up, my fellow gamers, and welcome back to Terraria. Now then, quick question. Have you ever heard of the common phrase, fight fire with fire? I sure have. In fact, one burnt apartment, 2 arson charges, and multiple angry looks from firefighters gave me the idea for this video. As today, we're going to try and beat Master Mode Terraria using only boss weapons. Side note, in a decision that I would later regret, event boss weapons, such as the Razor Pine or the Horseman's Blade, will not be allowed. If you're wondering as to why this would later bite me in the ass, well, put it this way. I'm fighting Plantera with a goddamn laser rifle! But then again, I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's start at the beginning. I create my character, create my world, and immediately start chopping down trees while the guide ferociously battles the nearby slimes. Leaving the guy to his eventual death, I make my descent into the caves in hopes of finding good loot. Immediately, I am blessed with a life crystal. Alright, more health. Can't be mad. After all, I'm sure this cave has a variety of treasures just waiting to be discovered, such as another life crystal, or perhaps a life crystal. Maybe, if you're especially lucky, you might even find a life crystal. Life crystal, life crystal, life. I get it! Now that I am full health, would it be possible to find my first f***ing chest? Life crystal. You know what? I think it's the area. It must be. No matter, as I will just venture leftward, only to be met with the realization that I have a desert right next to me. Oh boy, I cannot wait for vultures to joyfully peck my eyes out. Fun. Alright then, seeing as how going left was a bust, let's try going right. I have made a terrible mistake. After searching for hours in these treacherous caves, I am finally graced with a chest. We quickly block out a cave bat with some stone so he doesn't rip out my spine through my rectum. And upon opening the chest, I am met with the most beautiful pair of Hermes boots I have ever seen. And while at this point, I would normally continue searching for a cloud in a bottle. That being said, seeing as how chests are apparently harder to find than a girl who doesn't want a 6-foot-tall boyfriend, I take my Hermes boots and skedaddle to the surface. This is of course in order to start preparing our jacuzzi for our first boss fight. I then summon the king slime and watch as he gleefully jumps right in. Unfortunately for him though, the water is a little too hot for his liking. And as he tries to get out, he starts cramping up. Uh-oh. See, this is exactly why they tell you not to go swimming after having eaten a full course. Man. With the king slime now defeated, we get the slimy saddle, which is going to act as our first way of dealing some type of damage. This is going to be very much needed as I make my way toward the jungle in search of a honeycomb. Before you ask, yes, I do very much plan on beating the queen bee with a slime saddle. But don't worry, in Terraria, there's lots of ways to make a fight easier, such as drinking an unregulated amount of alcohol. Potions. And although I now see 4 queen bees instead of 1, I am tankier, faster, have better regeneration, and am capable of emitting fire from my body. Although that last one could just be the chipotle I had for lunch. Nevertheless, even with all our potions, this fight still takes just forever. Holy f***. As I have to wait for the perfect opportunity to Goomba stomp this boss as hard as I can across the head. No doubt causing severe head trauma and making her forget key memories of her life. Learning to fly, gone. Childhood memories, gone. Rebellious phase, first boyfriend, coronation, all gone. Eventually, after 7 minutes of delivering concussion after concussion, the queen bee is finally defeated. And oh boy, will the world now know pain. As I pull out my beekeeper sword in order to farm the queen bee until we get the bee's knees, the bee gun, and bee nades. With our newly equipped bee arsenal, it's time to start taking care of some bosses, such as the Eye of Cthulhu, who is at this point probably regretting its literal existence, as I am going to be jamming 5 beehives worth of bees into its eye socket. I could only grasp at straws at the level of pain and discomfort that it must be feeling. Therefore, as he is trying to murder me while being chased by a colony of bees, I decided to cheer him up with a pun. Here goes. I cannot believe the damage you're taking. Yeah, that pun was pretty good. See, it works because he's an eye, and I'm using bee-related. Alright, I'll shut up. With the Eye of Cthulhu now thoroughly traumatized, we head over to the Eternal Garage Sale that is the corruption, in order to face off against the Eater of Worlds, or should I say, the Spitter of Worlds, as he tries to spit on me throughout the fight. Last time I checked, I was not a bound green greedy goblin who overcharges people for simply trying to reforge their weapons. Therefore, why the f*** am I getting spat on? Eventually, we do start destroying it and disassemble its segments. This is both a blessing and a curse. A blessing since we are destroying it and inching closer to victory, and a curse since every segment results in yet another mouth attempting to spit on me. Ultimately, we do manage to wear it down to a small husk of its former glory. I take great pride knowing that I made him feel somewhat inadequate about his size moments before death. With the Eater of Worlds now defeated and his corpse neatly wrapped around my neck, we can make our way to the dungeon where we find a poor old man who is gravely cursed.
Please free me from my curse, stranger. I'll even suck your dick.
No reward will be necessary, as Skeletron will be the final boss before the Wall of Flesh. He attempts to swipe at my bees to get them off of him, but that will be rather difficult now that they have eaten his hands. I am astounded and baffled as they absolutely ripped right through bone. Boy, am I glad I decided not to smear honey on my... without any hands, Skeletron has no choice but to astral project some skulls as a last resort. However, this is to no avail as my bees have now made his head their new home. With our victory over Skeletron now solidified, I can make my descent to the underworld, ultimately coming across the Wall of Flesh. And oh boy do I feel sorry for it, as anyone could simply play doctor for a day and clearly see the problems. Red irritated skin, dry eyes, and just absolutely riddled with worms. These all seem like telltale signs of being low in the much needed vitamin B department. That's right, B for bees. As it advances ever closer toward me, I am launching bee nades, bee bullets, and bee arrows that are just absolutely shredding it. From an early age, I was taught that bees defied all known laws of aviation. Yet I never would have imagined that they could carry me this hard. With the final bee nades being chucked promptly into the wall's mouth, we are victorious and are now in what my grandpa calls marriage. That's right, hard mode. Being in hard mode does unfortunately mean that our bee weapons are now, well, trash. Luckily for us, the Wall of Flesh will have some drops we can use, such as the Breaker Blade, the Firecracker, and the weapon that I will unfortunately become way too familiar with, the Laser Rifle. Having just begun hard mode, with our new weaponry, we quickly start collecting the hard mode ores and make our adamantite armor. Now that we have acquired our brand new drip, we are one slippery, slimy step away from the mechanical bosses. I am of course referring to the Queen Slime, who holds one more weapon upgrade for us. But how exactly would one even beat the gelatinous terror that is the Queen Slime? Now, to the untrained eye, this fight might look easy, but in actuality, I am dodging invisible lasers everywhere. Were I to get hit by one of these, I would no doubt vanish from existence in real life. So for anyone thinking that all you have to do to win is simply run to the right, you would be mistaken. Sometimes you have to run to the left. Opening up our goodie bag, we get the Blade Staff, which can only mean one thing. We will be swapping from the Ranger class to the BDSM class. That's right, my fellow kinky whip users. I am talking about summoners, as I am hoping that with my magic blades and firecracker, it will be enough to beat the three mechanical abominations. Starting off first with the Destroyer, who will now know firsthand what BDSM truly means. Without a doubt, BDSM surely stands for Buddies That See Movies. And oh boy, what a coincidence. Currently for movie night, we have Destroy the Dastardly Destroyer, destructively. But I mean that could be about anyone, really. With one mechanical boss down, the twins try and launch a surprise attack on me at 2 in the morning. Luckily, I was awake at this time, doing one-armed hammer curls. Yep, that's right. Therefore, I managed to jerk out. Get out of bed and start fighting them. Whew, saved it. As the fight begins, my screen is soon flooded with lasers and green fireballs that will melt my skin if I am hit by them. But alas, I am confident in my supreme summoner skills to get the job done. I mean, come on. Good damage, cool weapons, unique minions. What could go wrong? 55, 75, 85? Okay, either they buffed the twins, or 26 defense! Okay. Anyway, top 10 reasons summoners suck. Number 10, 26 defense. Number 9 through 1, 26 defense. As I am unfortunately not skilled enough to play a class that can get bullied by slimes throughout its life, I then switched to my trusty laser rifle in order to face them again. Which will mean that this fight will take just absolutely forever to complete. However, after several months of fighting, we have managed to beat Spasmatism. All we have to do now is beat Retinazer. Unfortunately, I am badly wounded, and am much more closer to death than I would prefer to be. But right here, right now, is where I take my stand. My main character plot armor will no doubt ensure me of my victory. Hey, you guys want to know a funny number? 132. 132. 132. That number is just so hilarious. After meditating, doing yoga, going fishing, and buying a new computer, I believe I am ready to face the twins once more. We summoned them and raced throughout the entirety of my world in what felt like forever. After much running and dodging, we managed to beat Spasmatism once more, which just leaves us once again face to face with Retinazer, aka Mr. 132, aka I'm going to punch 132 twins in real life if I don't win here. Using whatever fragments of skill remained, after losing for 3 hours, I managed to dodge well enough to edge out a victory. Hooray! Now that the Destroyer and the twins have been beaten, all that's left is the final mechanical boss, Skeletron Prime. As some of you may know, this is in fact my favorite mechanical boss. However, since I am forced to fight him with a laser rifle, he becomes a little, well, fuck! Dude, come on! Fuck. Damn it! Come the fuck on! Even when I think I'm going to win. What? Oh my... Dude, are you kidding me? It's daytime! You son of a bitch! Yes, I did die quite a bit. In fact, my recordings were named the following: Skeletron Prime Deaths 1, Skeletron Prime Deaths 2, Skeletron Prime Deaths, even more Skeletron Prime Deaths, my public apology video for punching the skeleton in science class, and finally, Skeletron Prime Victory! Exclamation mark, exclamation mark, exclamation mark. Therefore, having finally bested such a worthy opponent, I went over to pay my respects. Fuck you, you piece of shit, die in a hole. Yep, nothing but respect. After just barely wiping the sweat off my forehead from the 3 mechanical bosses, we head over to the jungle, which houses Plantera. Finally, a boss who can actually drop a weapon, as I am salivating at the sheer thought of chucking this laser rifle as hard as I possibly can to the darkest depths of the ocean. Of course, we will have to first beat Plantera. That, in and of itself, can be quite challenging. However, after many trials and errors, I have figured out the secret strategy of flying around her in circles. This works fantastically. That is, until she gets pissed. But not all hope is lost. In fact, everything is going exactly as part of my plan. Step 1. Destroy the local wildlife with dynamite. Step 2. Fight Plantera. Step 3. Actually manage to beat Plantera. See, this was all a multi-step process in order to attain the Venus Magnum, which just leaves Step 4, the reveal. Step 5, cry. Step 6, repeat. Fuck! Well, the good news is, I am now no longer absolutely god-awful at fighting Plantera. The bad news is, I'm never getting back the 3 days spent farming her. But it was worth it. After many attempts, we finally get the Venus Magnum. That's right, a decent hard mode weapon. I know, I was beginning to think it was just a myth that our ancestors passed around the campfire, such as the tale of the proud parents, or the employed art major. Alas, with the Venus Magnum in our possession, our next boss fight will be the Empress of Light. Now then, you might be wondering, why am I placing minecart tracks And, or how, will I get past the tumultuous challenge that is Master Mode, Empress of Light? Worry not, as we simply use Einstein's famous mathematical equation. E is equal to mc squared. Here, let me do the math real quick. E is of course Empress equals 2 mechanical cart. Empress equals to mechanical cart. The mechanical cart is the solution. And oh brother, does the math not lie in this one, as I am absolutely shitting on her. Nevertheless, while even a brain-dead monkey with no hands can beat her using this strategy, I will undoubtedly put on my resume to McDonald's that I totally beat her legit. Now having attained the night glow from the Empress, I can already hear Golem writing his letter of resignation as a boss.
Dear Red, please buff me, you absolute prick. Love Golem.
As I enter the boss room, Golem might as well start throwing me his loot. Not that that would stop me from slaughtering him, but it would save some time. As the night glow absolutely rips apart his limbs, I am left without a shadow of a doubt that I am his 13th reason. Which just leaves us with the climactic finale. I race toward the dungeon, slaughter the creepy men trying to indoctrinate me, and fight the lunatic cultist, which in all actuality is really easy. All you have to do is hit the right cultist. Fuck. Alright, I mean he's super low, I can clutch. This time, having not hit any clones, we successfully beat the cultist and start the pillars. First the vortex, followed by the nebula, then the stardust, and lastly, every f***ing time, lastly, the solar pillar. With all 4 pillars out of the way, we can finally fight the Moon Lord. Oh, sorry, I meant the owner of the local Terraria gym, as this guy is apparently ripped from head to ribcage. And although he apparently can bench press the entire universe, cause catastrophic levels of destruction, make the toughest and manliest of men cry, all of that pales in comparison to the absolute raw strength and power of the nurse. The Moonlord must be looking rather confused, as he has hit me with everything, caused apocalyptic levels of destruction, and destroyed the very fabric of the world. Yet all of that cannot compete with me giving the nurse $12 to apply a band-aid that will somehow full heal me. The realization soon sets in as Terraria teaches us one final lesson. Remember, lesson 1, drinking is cool. Lesson 2, math is overpowered. And finally, lesson 3, have money. As his broke tentacle ass fades into nothingness, we are victorious and have just beaten Terraria using only boss weapons. With that being said, I hope you all enjoyed, hope I made you laugh, and may you all have a lovely day.